Formation of a leader is the basis. Dr. Joshua started with what I can call some basic ingredients as a leader, an emerging leader that you need to have. We are going further on that to look at kingdom-focused formation. Kingdom-focused formation. I want you to look at that word, kingdom, and focused. You know, it is possible to talk about just forming a leader that is not kingdom-based. Yes, that is not kingdom-based. But here, I'm not going to be talking about all what that means, but we are talking about kingdom-focused formation. That is, you have a vision that this leader is a biblical leader that you want to form. And so how do we go about it? When we talk about kingdom, is to rule on this earth that we are looking at now. We want to focus on heaven, but yet we are talking about ruling on this earth for now. What does that mean? For kingdom-focused leader, you must lead and live your life with eternity in view. That is, whatever I'm going to be doing, that's what you are going to be looking at. I'm not going to talk about our modular objective. That has been said by Dr. Joshua. Our learning objective for this module, it has been said. The outcome in totality. But we are going to look at our lesson outcome for this section, because we are looking at kingdom-focused leadership. Emerging leaders will be able to recognize how their whole life in leadership is consecrated to align with the will of God. If it must be kingdom focused, the totality of your life must be aligned, must be consecrated to align with the will of God. Please understand that word, whole life. What do we mean by whole life? It means both the front and your back life. Do you understand what we mean by both the front and the back life? Both the front and the back life means that whether you are in public or you are in private, it's still the same one life. It's not a life that you are living, just as we have been saying since Monday, since yesterday. It's not a life that church on Sunday, right to rule. Leadership in the kingdom of God is servant leadership. We need to note that. It's not a boss relationship. It is servant leadership. And you find that in Jesus. He washed the feet of his disciples. And he told them, look, whosoever that is coming after me should do what? Do this. Jesus needed him, what? A kiss to be able to betray him. Your leadership, as you are emerging, must not be a leadership of I'm there, others are here. These are part of things that I want you to look at. We've talked about the ingredients. And we will just look at few of that. You see it in the life of David too. Remember when David said something? You know, each time I look at it, I say, He said, and it looks like I should drink the water from the well of Bethlehem, in Jerusalem. 3 men reached their life to go and get the water. And they brought it and said, Sir, this is the water that you are asking for. Can you drink? Do you know? He said, this is blood. I can't. What did he do? He offered it as a sacrifice. That's leadership for you. Informing your leadership. Informing you as a person of purpose. Men and women that are working with you are very key and important. So you must have a relationship with God. That's your first thing. If you are going to emerge as a leader, your relationship with God is very, very important. I don't want to start sounding spiritual. You must, you know, those of us that are in Pentecostal, we talk about quiet time. You must have time. Our guy was talking about wisdom. It's still part of relationship. How many of us have learned a process of meditation? That you just take time off and you meditate over the affairs of things that you are passing through. It's still part of that development. Having a relationship with your God. Then you must learn to define your goal and purpose. Who am I? Where am I going? What are the things that are missing for me to get to where I'm going? Are you getting me? Number one, who am I? That's your strength that you are talking about. Where am I going? That's your purpose. How do I get there? How do I put all these things together to get to where I'm going? Because these are things you need to ask yourself. Are the weaknesses that you need, we are going to be looking at. Another one is obedience to His will. Obedience to His will. Dr. Joshua talked a lot about spiritual discipline. Things that you need to take away, things that you need to engage. You know, each time I talk about spiritual discipline, one person always comes to my mind, and that's Samson. Samson was born, and he was supposed to be a great leader. And there are things he was told. Dedicate yourself as a Nazarene. Nothing dead must you touch. You must not move around with women of easy virtues. All these things calls for discipline. But do you know what? Those are the things that he went to try it and he burnt his fingers. And that's why, as you are coming up as leader, you must be spiritually disciplined. Your home may not be Samson. It may not be a woman. It could be they ask you to go on a project and you are giving money, running into about 2 to 3, 4 million. And they are now asking you, come and account. Oh, Yeah, what stars? Because when you are coming, you have bought yam. You have bought dry fish, all sorts of things. And they are now asking you, come and account for money now. And you start postponing. Kai. Integrity, transparency of who you are. Those are part of things that you need to discipline yourself for. When we are talking about spiritual discipline, it's not only about women. No. Little things that can differ, that can make your leadership have a question mark. Because as you are imagining, some people are already following you. We have talked about you cannot be a leader if you don't have a follower. Some people are following you. So you must slander. We've talked about the example of David and his men in the morning. When you look at David, he was running away from Saul when some men followed him. But by the time he finished with them, he made them to become mighty men. How? He imputed his life into their lives. Start doing that now. Start thinking about who can I be a leader to? Don't be afraid. That's the problem I've always seen with a lot of people. I work with people, you ask them, show this person some things, and he's holding. I have to call one. I said, look, don't worry, keep holding. That position, you will be there. Nobody will promote you because you are good. So others will be moving over you. So release, just as Jesus did. Feedbacks all the time. Moses, feedback all the time to his people. Jesus called the disciple to the mountain to do what? Just to instruct them about things, about life. When you look at Matthew 5, 6, 7, that's what he did. We must slander. Secret preparation. What do you mean by secret preparation? You must prepare as a leader. When David, where was he? When national assignment came upon him, he was where? He was where? He was tending the flock of his father, Jesse. His elder brother, they were where? They were two. And he was the last one. Ordinarily, so what do you think should happen to the last one? Mommy's pet. But no, he prepared. So you need to prepare. Dr. Joshua has talked about it. You need to prepare for leadership. Spiritually, professionally, by your spiritual discipline, you need to prepare. That's when you can have public performance and then praise comes into that. So preparation is part of it. So you need to do your strength and weakness analysis to see what are the things that I need to work on if I must be a kingdom-focused leader. I'm going to use an example of a Nigerian, at least that I know. How many of you know a man called Bragbile Akoni from Boko? You put your two hands. I'm not going to talk too much about him for now. But is a man. I won't use what. It's a man who served in a very small village in Boko. And he has been there now close to 50 years. We'll be talking about that in my next section. And we are going to use him as an example with other things. What do you say? I'm not talking of case study. But you will see a kingdom person who lives his life simply from a village for the love of the people there, and he moved all over the world now. But when he was doing his secret preparation, many of us don't know him. When Ayo will be coming in the afternoon. When we met him at Jos in 1996, he just walked into our office in Jos and he introduced himself. I look at the man. He's an Okala man. I call him Okala. So that's where I'm going to stop. So that we will see what's our question? What do you understand by servant leadership and how can it help in raising leaders? That one is going to be a group. I like the leadership format process of David. And how do you intend to apply it to your life, your own life, and others? What do you understand by leadership formation that is kingdom focused? Living with eternity in view. That is kingdom focused. How do we do this? Because question 2 talks about our own life and that of others. It's more personal. But we still have it in groups. But the questions we'll answer. Can we take numbers? 1, 2, 3. Let's do quick. My time is gone. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. 2. 1. Okay. 1, you meet together, you look at the questions. 2, you meet together, you look at the questions. 3, you meet together, you look at the question. But for the question 2, it's very, very important that I want to see how you want to apply it to your own life and others that will be coming under you. Can we move to these groups now? Quickly. Let's do quick. Yes. They do it individual for themselves. All the 3. Group 1, group 2, group 3. Do you want to say anything on this? So an online group will be the 4th group. Online group will be the 4th group. Do you have anything that you want to add to this that we have said now?
I think this is great. I think you please identify the questions carefully, and particularly leadership formation with the kingdom focus. That question also. If you are going in groups, if you are taking all the questions, please make sure you give enough time for all the questions. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Grace, how many minutes are we going for this? 15? Okay. You are taking all the questions, but with more focus on question 2. I like the leadership formation process of David. And how do you intend to apply it to your life and others? Because we are talking about the formation of a biblical leader. That one is key.
any questions on questions?
Yeah, perhaps you have questions.
Do you have questions? I'm rushing. Do you have any question? Thank you, everyone. Group 1, please just raise up your hand if you're in Group 1. Group 2, they are still busy. Group 2, who are we still waiting for in Group 2? Group 3, please. Auntie Adura, if I'm right, am I right? Please, can you help us? Since many of, I will use the word many of us, or some of us, are familiar with Peace House, Bragbile. If you don't have a copy, I would like you to, there are 2 books I'm going to recommend if you have the opportunity, and I think you can download online. It leads me. How many of you know about that book? It leads me. Please find time to read. And then the second one that you can pick on is Living with Eternity in View. That's for leadership. The other one is for the formation of a leader, right from Anabali's son. But that's not what I want to talk about now. Can we move on? Okay, thank you very much. Group 3, can you do your presentation briefly for the group, and then one, just a minute each, for how do you going to apply it to your own life, so that you are going to write it down, and then you are going to pass that to Grace, and then they will follow up some things on that. Don't worry. Yes, as individual. It may not be right away because I know I caught you unaware, but you will do that. Can we have, who is presenting for Group 3? Group 3? Let's do quick.
Okay, for Group 3, when we say what do we understand by servant leadership, we talk about a leader who strives to serve others rather than accrue power or taking control, who assertively speaks and acts at the same time. Is not the person that says, do as I say, but don't do as I do. And a servant leader would want you to do as they do. It leads by example. And then the second one, we said, I like the leadership formation process of David and how it applies to our lives and others. So we saw that in the life of David 1, he was prepared. The appointment of God didn't catch him unawares. He was already tending for the sheep of his father. He had the CV already. even when he faced Goliath, he was like, "Who are you? You're not even up to be a lion, and you're coming to say all this." So he also knew that he had God, he had a CV already, he had the necessary training already, and he brought that on to the challenges that were going ahead of him. And another thing was that David was appointed to be a leader. He didn't strive for vainglory, he didn't lobby, it was not all about himself. He was just there tending the sheep when the anointing came looking for him. So, as a leader, we should not strive. If an appointment is for us, it's going to come. So, also, we saw that he was self aware, he had integrity. In all the challenges he was facing, he still had the time to build up a team of vagabonds, a team of nobody, a team of people who will naturally not be related with, but he gathered them and made them a great and mighty army. That even so, that had the whole army of Israel was afraid of, an army that was capable of going to the Philistines
Okay.
and causing damages to them. So we saw that he was also humble, he had alliance, and he valued connection with people. He was not a lone ranger.
But he
Even
wasn't disconnected with his own followers.
yes. So another thing is he understand the importance of people in getting things done. It was not just a person who thinks he can do it all alone. He had people within his carcass. Even in the carcass of the enemy, he also had people who were acting as informant. So, and for the last one, and what do you understand by leadership formation? That is kingdom focus. And when we bring in kingdom focus to this thing, we're talking about the will of God. And we're not just talking about the permissive will, we're talking about the perfect will of God, doing everything according to the dictate of the scriptures, irrespective of the situation, irrespective of the challenges, and it did that with spiritual visions, with the visions and purpose of God, and also with spiritual discipline. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The way we are going, are we sure we'll be able to do the one of individual, group 2? Yeah.
Okay. The first question is, what do we understand by servant leadership and how it can help in raising a leader? So firstly, I would like to say servant leadership is a leadership lifestyle that prioritizes the needs of others before the needs of himself, and he also and is a leader that serves, and is not a leader that only dictates what to do to his followers. He also do what he dictates, and he also seek advice from his followers too. And how it can help raising a leader is when you act good to in the sight of your followers, they emulate your behaviors and characters. We can cite an example of Jesus Christ, where his disciples emulate the way he behaves and the way he treats others. So the second one is highlighting the leadership formation process of David and how we intend to apply it to our lives and others. So we can see that David, firstly, he had an early preparation. In the case of him um rearing the sheep of rearing his sheep, he had a preparation. He knows how to attack the enemies when they come to feast on his sheep. So we can learn that David had an early preparation, and is also diligent in what he does, and he also has care and concern for his sheep. Yes, he also has passion for them, and is also excellent in what he does. And how we can to apply it to our life. So how we can apply it to our lives is that we saw the formation of what everything then David did. So we can apply it to our daily lifestyle, as a leader, we should, have an early preparation. We should show concern for other people's needs. We should be excellent. We should tend to be excellent in what we do. So number three, what do we understand by leadership formation that is kingdom focused? I would say a leadership formation that is kingdom focused is a godly focus and is based on the values and the principles of the scriptures. Thank you.
Thank you. Nobody has talked about the spiritual discipline and the weakness that we use Samson for. Number one, don't go and start saying that too, because I've said it.
Okay. Okay. Good morning, all. Yeah. A question we had: what do you understand by servant leadership, and how can it help in raising leaders? We, in our group, we discussed what spiritual leadership is all about. It's about giving yourself to service, sacrificing your time, yourself, and giving, serving others. And we made mention of Jesus, we made mention of Moses. We also talked about leadership is not about the title, neither is it about the position, it's about you taking action to do something. And how do we intend to help using this to raise leaders? We talked about letting the person act by seeing yourself, your action, being open and being sincere. We talked about truth, trust, and we talked about result-oriented person. That someone who is results-oriented will be a servant leader. So I'll be moving to the third one before the second one. What do you understand by leadership formation that is kingdom focused? Okay, we talked about leadership formation that is kingdom focused on relationship with God, identifying your goals and purpose, obeying the will of God, and spiritual discipline. A leadership formation that is kingdom purpose is all encompassed with all this: our relationship with God, our goals and purpose, obedience to his will, and spiritual discipline. So I'll be moving to the second one, which is I liked the leadership formation process of David, and how do you intend to apply it to your life and others? When we look at the life of David, we saw that he had a relationship with God. Even when the Bible actually did not state it that David goes to the temple to pray, but we could see that in his actions, in his word, especially when he went to fight with Goliath. He said, "You've come to me with spear and sword, but I come to you in the name of the Lord of Israel." So we could see that David there has a good relationship with God. We see that we also highlighted that David has secret preparation. Even when his brothers are at home, he tends to his father's flocks in the field, and we see how he defeats enemies like lions, bear, and we could see that David has secret preparation. Even after the declaration that he was the king, he still went to the Adullam cave, and he trained people, so that we could see that that also is also part of secret preparation he has. Not just only him having secret preparation, he also sharpened his skills, because if he is not skillful, he will not be able to play harps for King Saul. So we talked about being skillful. We talked about he has empathy and compassion. He has empathy and compassion. As a leader, you must have that, whereby he brought men who are nothing in the society and he groomed them to become mighty men later on. He is also emotionally intelligent. He's also remorseful and he listens to counsel. We also talked about repentance and accountability. Even after he fell short, he went back to God. He asked for forgiveness and he was accountable. Not that when Nathan came to him, he did not say, "No, I was not the one that did it." He acknowledged that he did it. And even after saying punishment, he subjected himself to that same punishment he gave himself.
Okay.
So we also talked about feedback, him listening to what people have to say. Is a leader who listens to what people have to say, and that was what we discussed in our group. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That is a key word there, that it talks about being skillful. Because we are talking about biblical leader. If you are talking about biblical leader, if you are not skillful, you can carry Bible, know it from Genesis to Revelation, but you are not professionally qualified, it will still be a problem. So, wherever you find yourself, prepare for the day of appearance. That was exactly what happened in the life of David. When they were seeking for a man who can play harp, they said there is a small boy there. And that was his connection to the palace. Thank you very much. Please, online? Okay. Online, before we have our other leaders to contribute.
We have a response from Tashi Manasseh. He said King David's leadership style was formed through a blend of his personal relationship with God, courage, humility, and a vision for his people. David demonstrated strong moral character, faith, and a willingness to serve, inspiring his followers to follow his example. 1. Personal relationship with God. David's unwavering faith and close relationship with God were central to his leadership. He relied on God's guidance and strength, which he then used to inspire and lead his people. This faith instilled in him a series of purpose and a conviction that he was acting under divine authority, which motivated him to lead with integrity and vision. Number 2, humility and servant heartedness. Servant heartedness. Despite the accomplishment, David remained humble and recognized his need for God's guidance. He demonstrated a servant heartedness by being willing to serve others, even in lower positions, and by listening to the advice of others. And we have one more from, I think two. One is from Olorun, Olasukomi. Servant leadership of David depicts leading by serving others that Jesus the Christ emphasized and demonstrated by washing his disciples' feet. Then Victoria said, what are the leadership formation process? David realized that he had calling from God as a shepherd boy, so he defended the sheep in his care. Number 2, he recognizes his weakness and he was quick to repent of his errors and faults. He was a lover of God. He held on to God for his leadership. Then he said, how can I apply the leadership formation of David to my life? I will seek to know what God wants me to do for him. I will seek God for guidance.
Thank you very much. Thank you. The last one is that, how do you apply it to your life and others? Like we said, because of time, you are going to do that, put it in writing, and submit to Madam Grace. And then we'll pick it from there to see. That will form part of things that mentor-mentee's relationship are going to build on. For you. Oh, you have questions for me? Because please please let other leaders first talk up, except if it is on this particular thing that I've just mentioned now. Is it on that? On the assignment? Okay. On the topic? Okay.
Maybe our leaders should be able to. So, you talked about secret preparation. Yes, that is preparing for the thing God. Secret preparation. Yes. Precede public appearance. Yes. So I want to ask: should secret preparation, is it an intentional process or natural process or divine process? It's intentional process. So are you saying it's always intentional? It's, in fact, 90% of it is intentional, that you need to settle yourself to prepare for leadership. And then you can now start, as you are doing that, the Lord will be coming in. Then other people can be coming in to assist, to help. When you look at David, it's mostly intentional. The brother were they were with the father now, and he was in the field. No, I mean intentional is like, okay, for example, God gave Jeremiah, he said, I have appointed you. Now, Jeremiah knew his work to be a prophet. Yes. Now, so by intention, I mean, would Jeremiah say, oh God, now I know this is what you have called me to do. So now maybe I should just separate myself and let me prepare for some years. That's intention. But when I'm talking about, I think for David, to me, I think it's a natural process, because.
Okay. Now, do you know between the time that you mentioned of calling and the times of appearance? Gestation period. Thank you for that word, sir. Gestation period is a time of preparation. It's a time of preparation. And that's the problem we're having. It must be intentional. That's what we are having now with many. Oh, I've been called. Jump! Everybody jump. And then I don't want to talk what we follow. Okay. You know, I don't want to raise questions because let me start with that.
All right, I just think that what you're asking is, it does not mean that David was not doing anything at that time. I don't know if that's what you are asking. Because as at that time, several things were not recorded of him. Even Jesus had the time of waiting before the time he manifested. And then by the time Jesus came out, he had to say that he opened the book and found where it was written. He was reading because he had prepared. He knew that there were certain things. And then he was giving attention to reading. How do you know that Jesus read? By the time you see the way he speaks, you will know that this, apart from the fact that he had the wisdom of God in him, he had given himself to study. It does not mean that you will not do anything. But just like Daddy said, you will be assisting. Okay, you know God is taking you to this place. If you have not, that's why you will see that David too, he had to tend sheep because he was going to lead people. But he started with small assignments. So he had to be looking at the small assignment, taking it the way he would take it when God is going to give him thousands of people to raise. So
I hope I don't want hold on. We must have one class and leaders still control the class. So I will not allow you to just hijack the class from me. Okay, I will allow you to talk, but 1 minute, please.
I want to say this, that what he was trying to ask is that intentionality, he was trying to say, is it only being intentional? He was trying to say, okay, is there a natural factor to being raised? Is there a physical factor to being raised? Right? Am I getting your question? So now, what he's trying to say in essence is that while we say being intentional, we should not let down the aspect of a natural preparation. And we should not let down the aspect of being spiritually prepared. So you will be intentional in all aspects. Jesus you're talking about, if you check it, the Bible says he was there reading. He was listening to readings. And at that point of David's brother, it's not that they were not doing anything. If you go back to Egypt, when they went to meet him, they were working on farms. Do you understand? So,
when we talk about being intentional, it means you are not leaving it to chances. That's what we are talking about, being intentional. If you are working in an organization and they intentionally want to take you to a particular position, there are gaps in between that position and where you are. Organization will be intentional in ensuring that you are trained to fill that position. That's what we mean by being intentional.
Okay, but what can we say in people that has natural leadership traits in them? Because we have some people, they may be at the junior level, but seeing them, they like they act as if they are leaders. So what can we say in that position whereby they are not that they are what they are doing is natural. It's coming freely. So what can we say in that kind of?
I don't want to go into management leadership issue right now because we are looking at raising biblical leader. Let me tell you the truth, there is no born leader. You are intentional about raising leadership. Every one of us have different traits on matters. It's when you are intentional in raising those things and develop it that makes you to come out. And that's what happened in the life of David.
Yeah. Yeah. Natural leadership is at the raw level. And it must be processed, it must be refined to become the authentic leadership that is needed. And that process should be intentional. And that process also takes so many types of training that includes training from home, from this. No leader emerges without going through that formation. And that is the formation that we are talking about, including biblical formations. Biblical formation is also intentional if you want to go through it. Right from your kindergarten till the time you emerge, you are going through it. And I think that is that. Then, accidental leadership. When you become an accidental leader, you are waiting to crash. You understand? So somebody just said he emerged accidentally, is waiting to crash. He must be trained. He must be processed. He must pass through a process. So that is what is being said here. David, now, sorry, you are talking about David now. There's one aspect that I want us to note about David. At the time David was in the field, he was doing certain things. You call it relationship with God. Relationship with God includes or is even based on the reading of the word of God. David in Psalm 119 verse 11 said, "Your word have I kept in my heart." How did he get the word to keep? And that was what made him a fantastic leader. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I would address the number two. The first thing I want you to know is that there is a time in your life that you are known, you are unsung. A day will come that will be given a platform. You must not fail on that day. So you need to be intentional, right? You have a target. This is where I want to get to. What kind of training do I need? I'm talking in your organization. Some of you are pastors, some are working officers and all that. So you need to be intentional. What kind of skill do I need to add? Is it an IT skill? Is it how to do this and that? You will go and learn. Sometimes you are waiting for organization to train you. They will do it to an extent, but you have to train yourself. So that when that time comes, you emerge. It will be very clear that you can perform. Then the assignment that you are supposed to do, or how do you intend to apply it to your life and others? I don't know whether we did that very well. You need to identify your strengths and weaknesses, and you must be objective. You know, sometimes when you write appraisal for staff and you put their weaknesses, the following minute they don't want to greet you. Yes, they just want to say, look, this is a very wicked man. But if you sit back, yes, and you think, and you think, and you think, you see that this man is getting this. This is a weakness that I didn't take note of. And then the next thing is to begin to work on it. Before you know it, you turn that to strength. So you should do that for yourself. And then say, okay, I have these weaknesses. Then what am I going to do to improve? At that point, you will begin to apply it to yourself. You will begin to notice the changes. People around you will be noticing the changes. Others will learn from you. Very important. Thank you.
Thank you. I think I want the none. Okay, maybe because of that I will allow you, but please brief because we want to round up quickly. Are you having a question or what? Because you are raising up your hand. Okay, go ahead.
I actually want to ask because while sitting down here, I was also thinking of something. We mentioned emerging leaders. But I want to ask can everyone be a leader? That's my question.
Everyone is a leader, but not everyone will occupy a position. Position is not leadership. So note that one. Note that one. That position is not leadership. Do you know you can lead even as a junior person, and you are showing influence to top, to bottom, left, and right. So position is not leadership. Please, we need to understand that. So thank you very much. I think I've enjoyed myself for this section. So